I like this shape, like doing this kind of.
The guitar is just showing off its arpeggios to the ukulele. But yeah, look how far I can go.
I know. Like, I was like, dude, that sounds great.
Like that shape. Wait, no.
That's nice.
What was that? Like. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Going between like that kind of, it's like a.
Right.
Oh wait, sorry. Like just walking down is it's like two different shapes, right? You have.
I see. Andrew.
Oh, I feel like between you two, you could come up with
How about
something
this?
cool.
How about this? Let's come up with like an 8-bar thing, and I call out a chord, you call out the next chord, I call out the next chord, you call out the next chord.
It's like a yes and kind of a...
Yeah.
Or with that, maybe this is what's fun. Like,
And then I'll come up with a melody. You know what I mean? And then we just kind of improv over that.
okay,
Yeah. So let's just call it 8 bars, 8-bar tune. Okay, 8-bar
relative G.
tune. Okay, relative G. Okay,
All
so
right,
so the key is gonna be in G. Do I need cans for this or what? I do, yeah.
Can.
All right.
Something slow paced, maybe.
This is my mood right now. But let's call it the chords. I'll start with G major 7. Where does your mood take you to after this G major 7? And I'll try to keep it interesting, you know.
I would say it would go to like a G7.
G7, okay. So okay. Let's go A flat major 7 after that.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Thought you were gonna go C, but
Okay. So this is now we're at bar 4 now, okay? Let's just
Okay.
do 1 chord per measure, yeah?
This is I don't know what chord this is. This would be a so we'll,
Yep. Okay. So from A flat major 7 we go to A diminished
it's just
7.
the A diminished
A
7.
diminished 7. Yeah. Okay. So let's see here. We have I'm hearing goes to E flat there. Yeah. Okay, so this is bar 5. Yeah. Bar 5. Okay, so 3 more measures. You got next.
So I don't know what chord this is. It's like an E. It's like
Try to play it again. That's a E flat minor 6. Yeah, E flat minor 6. Okay, so E flat to E flat minor 6. That's bar 6. So we got 2 more, and we got to come back around to G. FYI. So let's work our way backwards. Bar 8's gonna be just, let's call it D7.
okay. Yeah, I was thinking it's
Okay.
some D.
Yeah, some nice 5 chord. So that leaves in between the E flat minor 6. There's a bar in the middle between E flat minor 6 and D7. So we have bar 5. So far we have, let's play it together. So G major 7 to G7. And then we said A flat major 7 to A diminished 7 to A flat, E flat, and then E flat minor 6, and then blank.
Is it D7 or some kind of D?
Yeah, triple. What do you
So-
have? What's your voicing? Right.
Or
That's already D7 though. So we need something in between that.
between E flat and
What is
E-
that? The E flat minor 6.
E
thing.
flat minor
Chord.
6.
E flat minor 6. How about
These can be treated kind of like diminished chords, right?
yeah. Yeah, it's similar in the structure. But coming from, so it's context, yeah. So E flat to E flat minor 6. Da, da, da. How's that? D minor to D7. How's that?
Oh,
So just D minor 7 or whatever to D7 dominant, and then brings it back to G major 7.
oh, right after
Yeah.
that.
So we have 8 chords. 8 chords, yeah. So here we go. 1. Let's do 1, 2. We can do that too. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8. You could do that sharp 9 chord. Yeah, and then back to G major 7. That's our tune.
Okay,
that's our tune right there.
That is
That's
crazy.
our tune.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
let's do like a, I don't know, like I'm feeling like R&B type of thing. Because we got these nice major 7 chords.
oh yeah.
D minor. That's nice. D7, yeah.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Like, because we're workshopping this, like,
Right,
were there any chords that you feel like you have a stronger tendency to want to go to?
Yeah,
You
were.
kind of went to like a D flat thing, like, so I'm thinking like maybe, and then you went to, I call this one. That's cool too, you know.
Yeah.
Like instead of the D minor, we could do the D flat major. And so, by the way, like this is all trial and error. Like I'm thinking. So if you're wondering like how I'm like sort of coming up with these chords, I'm thinking where we're coming from, and then where we're going to.
Yeah, if it's like
Which
intervals,
is
right?
why we're like, okay, I'll call out the first chord, you call the next chord. We can just keep going on and on with this, you know, and like build, you know, and nothing's set in stone, you know, which is kind of the fun part. So G, let's do it again. So G major 7, then we did G7, and then A flat major 7. That's cool because it's just like a left turn, like immediately. Yeah. And then from here we did which I like. And going to the E flat sort of brings it back down to earth, you know? Which is, yeah, E flat minor. And then from here, I feel like, which is kind of nice. And then from here, the 5 chord. And then that one, it's, because it's a dominant, we could do whatever. So D, D7, what is that? D7 flat 9 type of thing. Like, you know what I mean? D diminished sharp 9, sharp 5, which is this. Yeah, sharp 5, sharp 9.
That's what I was thinking in my head. I was like, what could go there?
Right there. So this is sharp 5, sharp 9, like D7, sharp 5, sharp 9. For all of you keeping track, this is how my brain thinks. I like to think about all the little inner voices and what's going on.
I do have inner voices.
Yeah, I'm possessed by all of the inner voices
Corey's inner voice is like,
that we
give
all
me
hear.
another drink, bro.
Yeah, so we could change it to that. So the second half would be, what is that? E flat major, the E flat minor, and then to D flat major, 7, and then to this is the D,
I feel like a lot of it.
the D7,
We didn't.
sharp 5, sharp 9.
I think if we throw in some resolves in between the not really maze of chords, but
All tension, all the way.
I mean, dude, you're the one throwing in all the different, all those, which is what I love though, like about your playing, you know, because you naturally throw in all that stuff, you know, yeah.
Do you listen to Julian Lodge?
Not a whole lot, but
I've been listening to his
enough.
last few albums.
I mean, he's
lot.
a heavy cat, though.
But he'll take turns like this. Like
Yeah.
this kind of reminded me of some
yeah?
of the stuff he does. You know, just from the turns and also from like things aren't fully resolved for like most of the song. And
right, but
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the fun
yes,
part about, especially when you're sort of soloing. And this is, I kind of want to touch up, like...
Oh, actually, that's funny, because the tension parts are actually the coolest parts of solos.
It can't... Yeah.
A lot of times,
because
at least.
harmonically, it's so built up.
Yeah, that's where you can build it
Right.
even
Right.
further.
I had so much urge to, as we're, because a lot of the stuff we're doing is half
Yeah.
step, right?
Yeah. Right.
Oh, so I was like, and that's why I
Half step
naturally
there.
went through this.
Yeah, which is fine. I think it's nice to have that balance, you know, with going with your gut, but then also, hey, let's try something different. You know what I mean?
So I was thinking,
and I think that's when the really special, like, unique stuff like comes out. You know, it's that finding that fine balance of following the harmonic tendencies of what we exactly what we hear over and over and over again.
Right.
But it's also nice to hear.
We have some ASMR in
do
this section of the podcast.
But then also, you know, trying to go someplace else.
That's what I.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I try to do that.
Yeah.
And I try to do it on my own, and it doesn't usually work out the same. I feel like I always end up sounding just generic. It's like, oh, this is typical. It's like, of course, you know, if you're kind of just messing around, you know, you're really just messing around with the intervals and
Yeah.
the voicings in between. So like what we're doing, right? So I would do like a.
Right.
And if we did it.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. And then up to D7.
yeah, kind
Yeah,
of like
yeah.
because it's kind of going
Like, I mean, that's cool too.
you're kind of snaking it around.
Yeah,
to
it's still like there's still a good balance of
Unpredictability and
predictability.
yeah.
Because when
If it's all unpredictable,
if it's all unpredictable,
people
then
are
it's-
just
then it's a
floating.
little-
It's like,
yeah,
oh.
and then that's what they call jazz. No, I'm just
yeah,
kidding.
yeah.
in a nutshell.
Yeah.
No, but I like these kind of moments. So, you know, I had this conversation like a few months ago about talking to, or not a conversation. Saw this YouTube video on Jacob Collier.
Who's it?
Yeah.
Oh, those.
Is
That was a poor-
is that your Jacob Collier impression?
That was a poor impression.
Yeah.
I was doing an impression of this other guy that does his impression.
Which there's a lot of them.
Oh, there's an E flat.
Yeah, they have like a whole, or he has a whole like following of people who do impressions
Trolls.
of him. Yeah. But they're like uber fans too at the same time. Anyways,
You gotta be to like get his mannerisms.
yeah. But what's great about like because he's such a harmonic genius.
Yes.
He's able to find that sweet balance.
Microtonal harmonic genius.
Well, that's
because
a
it's
whole
not-
other thing,
Because
right?
he's like, oh, you know, we have
But he can
432, eh? And we
Yeah.
have, like,
But that's
sure.
the kind of crazy part about him. But like, you know, if you like even some of his tunes, you know, he's able to find that sweet balance of like unexpected and expected stuff, you know. But it's the unexpected stuff that like really sets him apart from like everyone else, you know. And that's what makes it, I think, special, you know. So when I either compose or improvise or whatever, it's constantly trying to find or tapping into that, you know.
yeah.
Because like the expected stuff, it's like we've heard of like a gazillion times, you know. So when it comes to improvising for me, it's like I don't want to do. I do find myself, and it's natural to fall into or play licks, you know.
Yeah.
And that's the expected stuff. But at the same time, I think we should all sort of like push ourselves and be like, let me try to use this note because I don't know how it's going to sound, but let's give it a shot.
Yeah.
And I think that's the kind of beauty of improvisation is because it's improvising. You're going with your gut, you know,
Yeah.
and it's not always going to work out, but it's okay because
Yeah.
it's going to be over in like a half a second. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
you just keep
Let's go. Keeps the
trying
mind
that.
going.
It keeps the mind
keeps the brain
going,
flexible.
and it keeps the musician like
It's like
on this
it's like,
constant journey of always trying to be creative.
it's like
you know?
yoga for the brain, the musician's brain.
It's-
You keep yourself stretched out,
Yes.
and you're able to
Yeah.
keep doing these things. So
It's exercise. It's you
you
got
have
like
to be-
putting in
yeah.
these reps, you know.
in somewhat of a fearless state,
yeah,
because if you're afraid of
Yeah.
hitting something wrong,
Yeah.
then you're
you
too
lost.
content. Yeah.
You already lost
so
your
like
battle.
this all goes back to the AI thing.
Yeah. No, but
It's
so-
like only we can do that. I feel like, you know.
But
As
if
humans.
that's the thing,
I don't know.
That's the thing. It's with AI. It's not just one algorithm. It's an amalgamation of algorithms working together.
Yeah.
And it works in a way to create. It can create a new version of itself if it's
Right.
if you
Right.
tell it like, oh, okay, so this is the idea. You're coming up with the programming for the AI.
Yeah.
By giving it these.
But I think
structure.
it's our responsibility as humans to
Put a
to
stop
always
to this immediately.
to always push
Totally.
the boundaries so
And
that
this is what I feel.
so that we can always be
ahead.
yes.
Right, because if you
Yes.
have this,
Yeah.
AI is just a big, mashup of everything that's ever existed, and it can pull out at any second what you put commands to, hey,
Yeah.
write a quick jazz song that has like a 70s swing feel
Right.
in the key of G, and it'll come up with that like big band type stuff.
Yeah.
If you put big
Easy.
band, it's gonna just be like, oh, this is what was from the 70s, this sound.
Right.
Wait, Corey, try bust out your phone, and there is definitely like a soulfulness that's not fully captured that hopefully wouldn't be, but
Like thinking of it, there are definitely gaps in what AI is.
I mean,
right?
like when I used Udio and like was just testing it out to see like what is this, like the stuff it was giving me, I was not loving. I mean, it's music, but it's like it's kind of cheesy, or I don't know. But then I've also watched other channels where it was like they worked with it a little bit, gave it more commands, and then they like mess with it a little bit, and then it's like, oh, this is actually, not bad.
Yeah, so with everything that's already been created, you have basically AI, which is like your genius phenom that can just basically learn everything.
Yeah.
Learn anything instantly. So that is going to set like the musicians that really care about music, I think, to like actually come up with something that hasn't been written before,
Right.
essentially.
So we were talking about like what are the benefits?
So if you ask
You
AI, write something that doesn't really exist musically,
Yeah.
and it would probably come up with something that doesn't make any sense. But if we were to do the same thing, it would make musical sense because we're still basing it off of like these information registers of
Right. We're still sort of proofreading and checking to make sure that this is what we want to put out there.
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So
What are the benefits in your mind?
What was I going to say? Oh, we should feel challenged to continue producing things that AI would
right. So
wouldn't.
it's gonna separate
You
the people that have this passion for music and is always creating
Right.
the real artist,
Yeah.
like not to sound.
I mean, if you're doing electronic music with auto-tune vocals, then
Yeah.
you're,
If that's what you're doing,
you're kind of close to.
then go to town on AI.
that
I mean,
world-
it all depends on like what you get into.
That
which
world
I
is already
also
going to be
respect, you know.
full of people that do that. They're
Yeah.
like, oh, I want this.
Oh,
beat,
there's
this
going to be
and
tons
that.
of people, right?
And it's like it's going to get
And it's
completely
Yeah,
I think it's fine,
um,
you know.
it's
saturated. I think it's gonna be
fine up
saturated
to the
with
point to where like it affects like Spotify revenues and stuff like that
Yeah,
because
yeah.
people are just like throwing stuff up on their
And
The
daily.
thing is, no one's going to stop anyone.
Yeah,
from
nobody's
doing
going to stop anybody
what they
from
want to
doing-
do.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Like once the technology's there, it's like,
Right.
yeah, good luck telling people to slow down.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen. But
1970s. What did I say? Key.
did you
of
get logged in?
E flat. Yep. And then it's going to be at 110 beats per minute. See what we got. Jazz big band 1970s key of E flat. 110.
Ukulele? Did
BPM.
you put in there?
I can do ukulele. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever messed with this kind of stuff?
Nope.
No. Yeah. It's like why?
See, so how we were talking about how it could be beneficial, it should be a supplement to helping you do stuff. So if you're writing music and you need ideas to
Right.
kind of bounce
Yeah,
off of,
like
this
I
is
think
great.
as a tool, like if you hit like if you have like writer's block and you just need something, in this case like AI to create like a chord progression, or maybe you have a chord progression but you don't know where it's gonna go next, then I think it's cool, but in the end it should always I feel like if you're an artist, then you should always, you want to feel responsible for the music that you're putting out there.
Yes.
And not rely on the AI.
Right, because if you rely on
you could
it
use
too
it as a
much-
tool, just like
Yeah.
how we use tools, like technology as tools to
like
help
people
us,
are going to be more
know?
and more, less and less inclined to actually use
Right.
their brain power to
Right.
come up with something. Doesn't have to be
Yeah.
something crazy, but something different.
Yeah.
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 While we're at it, we're at
I mean,
50%.
it's still so brand
true.
new.
Yeah,
Also,
yeah.
like
Oh, okay, that was quick.
I still don't know how I fully feel about it.
Let's hear
Yeah.
it, Corey.
Yeah.
So that was quick. I was gonna pull up the other stuff Tobias sent a link
Yeah,
to,
yeah.
but
Let's hear it. What, they give you like 3 different options or something?
this one was 2 because I think I have a free account. It's weird because I was mostly in like, oh, here's the other one.
I like it. It's not bad.
This is crazy. This doesn't exist. Oh, I'm killed
Right.
out. I don't hear the ukulele, but
Yeah, try show the one that Tobias made.
that was just now. Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
insane. Insane.
Does that bother you at all, Abe?
It's
I
like
want to
on,
like it,
like on
but
hearing it for the first time, it sounds good, like on like the first listen. But also, I'm also like, it's a little strange, like the choices, which is why I feel like, yeah, it's maybe weird now, but it's only gonna get better. So maybe like in a few years, like it'll make sense to us. You know what I mean?
Because they'll get better.
Right, because it's
Yeah.
only, I mean, I can only see that happening, right? It's not going to get worse, but there is a little kind of weirdness to
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
That's
But
what
it
I
sound-
noticed
it does
a
sound
lot
good.
of
It does
the
sound
times
good.
when I would try to give it prompts and stuff, and I'd be
Yeah.
like, "There's something weird about it,"
Yeah.
But sometimes,
if you didn't know that it was AI and you heard that for the first time,
would you notice right away this is AI?
We would have to do like another blindfold test and not
oh no, you know
what I
already.
mean?
Like we already know. It's like, oh, is this AI? No.
Yeah,
It's like, Is this real? So
that
I
would
know,
be-
I can only say that
It'd
'cause,
be
like-
rough because
we know it's
your
AI.
catalog of jazz tunes is so deep.
Yeah, that's like
Oh,
your
yeah.
that's like your next record, yeah, Corey. You lie.
I mean, if I had to, I am not inclined at all to write.
I'm
Any,
like,
that's
I'm
what
like
you're
saying,
gonna- you're
I'm
gonna
like
get a
saying,
lot
oh, it
of,
sounds weird, man. It sounds weird.
yeah, right.
I think if I
probably.
wanted to, like, I don't feel like I have good idea. I feel like I'm still in a learning phase of music because there's a lot of music that I haven't been introduced to, types of music that it's just not in my repertoire,
yeah,
right? So,
yeah.
if I wanted to write something, I feel like it would need to be original, and I would want to add different kind of, not all the flavors, like different kind of flavors from different things, and then come up with something fresh, I guess, something that doesn't,
Sounds
isn't
like
typical.
something you could put into a prompt and
Yeah. So my
it'd
phone,
be like ukulele, Tommy Emmanuel.
But so here's the thing, though. Like, I mean, you could do that, input the prompts, and get ideas from it.
Yeah.
Okay, if you can get ideas from that, I think that's a good thing. I don't know. That's the thing. It's so new. I don't know how I feel about it. Because in the end, like everything that we write anyways is coming from something before us, something that we've been influenced by.
I mean, it's okay to be like
We're always
inspired by something, but
Right.
then I
This
don't
is
know.
a cool take on the, you know, essentially the reverse engineering of AI. Is that like doing this kind of things? Like, oh, where do you want to go from here? Like, I don't think AI can do that.
Well,
Right.
that is what it's doing.
But then it is, and then that's right around the corner. Is like people are going to be throwing
But
these
if we
kind of
do
ideas
this,
into the.
so for example, though, if we do this tomorrow, because our moods and how we're feeling is going to change, we could do the same thing tomorrow and it'll be completely different. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But then
And I think that's the beauty of this process.
Yeah, but there's still just a
But
good thing is there's only a
That brain
finite
is still
amount.
learning too.
What's
So-
that?
Oh, this one? Yeah.
No. The one in the phone. Like that's still developing too. So who knows if you give the same prompts
Yeah.
next week, whether I don't know. I mean, I kind of just don't like it all together, but I like your positivity. I like that you are
I mean, it's here. I mean,
right.
You know what I mean?
Right. There's no getting around it. So it's like,
Right.
how is it used ethically? How is
right.
it, a tool that can, I already can imagine there's a lot of people using it for background,
I'm sure like people use it for like restaurant playlists.
well,
or
well,
something.
Oh, yeah, they totally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
no, but I mean like
Yeah.
backing up, like the backing
backup
tracks,
tracks.
yeah,
Yeah,
on
yeah,
your
yeah, yeah.
stuff. So it's like
Yeah.
you're a solo player and you want to
Right.
make a album in your room, It's like
It's crazy.
yeah,
There's like
that's
this.
cool.
There's this randomization feature where, it's constantly changing, and it's like a song about the agony of a melted snowman, and it keeps adding on things.
Mm.
Yeah, there's something that you guys are not gonna be able to be copied by for quite a while, at least. I mean, in live performance too is
Yeah.
something that's always preserved until there's chips in our brains and I don't know.
Yeah.
And then you'll be like, I don't know though. I think Corey's AI enhanced.
Yeah. You can tell you have this AI.
It's like, see those licks he was doing?
Guys,
He's probably got that chip up
he's
there.
been a robot all along, man. That's why he's so good, man.
It's my secret.
Shit.
Like,
Hey,
It's like I just need to hear it once.
if I had to
I
bet
can-
on
I can
anything,
play
it would be you, Abe. You freaking monster.
No ways, no. Corey, could you just play the chords like over and over again, and I'll come up with a melody?
Okay.
Yeah. It's tricky. Yeah. That's it. don't know if that's a better second take, but
That was fun. Still fun though.
it's still fun. I mean, it's tough. It's tough, man.
Amazes
We were
me
throwing in
how
the-
Abe
I
manages
I
to
kept for-
shred over
I-
everything.
I kept
Yeah.
so what I like about stuff like or doing things like this is it gets you out of the comfort zone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It makes you like it's this chord progression. It's probably an okay progression. Like it's not my favorite. You know, it's just something we came up like on the spot. It's not bad, I would say. It's not like a completely, ridiculous chord progression. Like there's some good parts. There's some like we could change the chords, but just kind of improvising over it. It forces you to kind of like think differently.
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
Especially in that kind of movement. There's so many things
It's-
you can do. It's like,
so
wait,
right.
hold on.
It makes you want to play your licks, but then it reminds you, oh, that doesn't fit. So
Yeah.
it forces you to think differently
Outside of the box.
outside of the box. Yeah.
And then watch
Yeah.
the next generation of AI.
AI.
Out of the box AI. Like, damn. We can't win.
Yeah. Let me ask you this: what do you do like to, if you come up with chords, like how do you? I mean,
Turns out I've been.
or something that's like you don't want to do something that's been done.
So, I would say in the past year, maybe 2 years,
Huh.
I realized because I'm not actually sitting down and like just coming up with things and voicings and I've actually just been on like a learning kind of thing because I don't put the time in to sit down and do it. So I've been just watching a bunch of videos, watching a bunch of other people play music and get these ideas, like Julian Lage, some of his newer stuff, along with just other artists that's not even in the same genre. And everybody, which is really nice, everybody's different. Like it's not, the generic Instagram, show you some flashy thing.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of people who are like, oh, here are ideas. I find that on the algorithm, which I like now, it's a bunch of these people who are just, oh, here's an idea of G, something over G minor.
Yeah.
And they do like this really nice run that could be jazzy, or most of it is jazzy, that or
But like you take what you like.
right.
out
So
of it,
watching
right?
these people, it's like how do I do it? And then
Yeah.
the approach is different now because I'm just watching and like learning, just been
yeah.
learning and trying to absorb,
Which is cool too.
which
like
it really isn't, because in these situations I'm like, oh, all the stuff that I've absorbed
Apply.
in the past year,
Now
I'm
you gotta
like,
apply.
I haven't applied it, so it's like, oh crap.
Yeah.
But one of the things that stood out of that whole, a lot of the things I've been just watching in a year, it's not even new things. It's improvisation and like how to take a good approach to doing that. And I remember watching I think it was Fujita. Him, and then he had like the same idea as this other piano player. It's like, oh, you just let's take G, and you just have how many while staying in G, how many things can you write around G?
Play? Yeah.
And it's not just it could be like a
We should
you would
do
play
that.
that.
We
Yeah.
should do that right now.
It's just
Yeah.
yeah. going with that. But, just see how many things you can branch off, or just even doing like this chord. Just,
Right. Yeah. It's sky's the limit.
It's so redundant that you almost have to spice it up in those
Right.
ways.
It forces you to,
You just keep throwing ideas at.
but it's
you know.
also like it's up to the, it's how much conviction you back you if you have an idea, it's you should back it up all the way. You
Yeah.
know.
Go in. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all or nothing.
That's what I realized. I always
Go in.
feel
all
like
in.
I'm
all
just
in.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something that I feel like you do really well. You just
Why not?
100% just
Why not?
get
Yeah,
into it.
Yeah.
What are some ways that our podcasts with Abe are not just for your enjoyment; they're for stretching out your brain a little bit. This is a different different style.
I love talking about this stuff, man.
What are some things people can do that can spice up their playing in those ways?
Okay, so we're in G minor, right? And I remember talking a little bit about this, like in one of the other previous podcasts that I've done, is that any note can work, you know. It's all about like how you use it, and like I said, it's you have to like fully be behind it. You know, you have to convince yourself like this is whatever it is that you're playing, you fully believe it, and it is what you intend. So let's just play in like G minor, you know.
I'll just do like
So-
what we're doing, just to try to just keep throwing stuff at it.
Yeah. So okay, so I'll start by playing very, very typical, safe note ideas, you know? So go for it. And I'll kind of change it up as I go. Oh, yeah. Okay, keep going. So kind of like a minor, very kind of bluesy thing, you know. So Corey's throwing in some chords there, or notes, chords that I could still stay in G minor, but explore some of those other notes that you normally sort of wouldn't. So keep going. mean, I could just. This is fun, man. You know. So it's you could just explore and it's.
Yeah, but what are you doing there? I mean, it's so much better. I feel like I must be in the minority because for me, like once like it starts bending my brain a little bit, then I get like that's
like,
what I like.
So I started with playing things that are like safe, like
right.
G minor pentatonic, kind of bluesy,
But the second take,
and then but the second time, so that like whatever you play in the bluesiness minor, whatever it is, pentatonic, that'll always sort of bring you back. Everything else will sort of like take it out there. You know what I mean? So it's almost like there's like a plane, and if you stay within the blues like kind of minor thing, you're always going to be aligned with it, But the more further out you explore using other notes, you're sort of like kind of like this, getting away from it. So it's always nice to sort of like have a good balance with the safe stuff, which is like the stuff that's easy on the ears. But then if you want to sort of like explore and take it even further, you could use some of those other notes, get outside of that G minor tonality, but then what's safe.
So are you
when you can
just
bring it back.
exploring beyond that, or are you thinking in terms of like a different mode or anything like that?
No, not at all.
Okay, so you're
Zero. In this case, I'm not thinking about a mode
around knowing where you can come back to.
Right, because we're basically in G minor. G minor is it's really this. You have your G and then you have the third, which makes it minor. Everything else is kind of up for grabs, which is why like I always say that this is your sort of like primary tonality. You can always come back to it and it'll always be safe, You can always like bring it back home. But then in the meantime, you can kind of explore it and get out of there. So like we could go to town and just stay here, which is fine, but it gets monotonous after a while, and this is the neat part about I think about improvising, and I encourage people to do more of this because us as humans, we're all different, so we all have a sort of different approach to anything that it is that we do, and this is where you can sort of like develop your own identity, which is what we want in music anyways. Going back to the AI thing, it's like we need to put out there like this uniqueness about and celebrate the uniqueness of every single individual, so going back to the music thing, it's like, okay, so the G minor thing, that's safe, but like what else can you do outside of that, you know what I mean? And going back to kind of like more technically, like you're asking like what are you doing, I'm just kind of playing around. And then if I have an idea, I'll like kind of play with that idea. There's a lot of like, I did a lot of like kind of falling things, and then I'll just keep playing off of that idea. And then once that idea is done, I'll move on to something else. See, and then, but in the meantime, as I'm thinking about, okay, what can I do? I'll bring it back home and be like, go back to that minor thing that's safe again, kind of bring me back down to earth, and then try something else. Constantly trying new things, There's that. You could go the other direction. You could go G minor. I did a lot of like bring it up. Yeah, half step up. When you do that, you're sort of taking a temporary departure out of G minor, but then bring it back down, sort of thing. Or you could go the other way, which I also remember doing too. I went, So in this case, it's not even like musical terms. It's like trying, like this to me is a specific sound. Like this to me is G minor sound, but play with that idea, and just like but you can always bring it back home because we know where G minor is,
I was watching a guitar player go over that exact topic and why it sounds good, because it's like it's not far off from the key that you're playing in.
Yeah.
So if you kind of step out of bounds for a little bit, but then bring it back in a
Yeah.
very convincing way, then that's what sounds good.
Right.
So like that whole G minor thing, he's like, oh, you could do the you can
Right.
he's like kind of
Exactly.
as you go in, you can lead into
And then bring it
Yeah.
back. And then bring it
Yeah.
back. Right. Right. Yeah.
Just creeping into the
And
next
it's
step up.
and with fretted instruments, I feel like it's easier than like maybe other instruments because it's we're dealing with like positions, yeah. Like, boom, G minor, easy. Oh, you want to bring it down? G flat minor, F minor, it's the same position, So it's easy for us to kind of like do that sort of like stepwise motion.
Yeah, the shapes change on a
Yeah,
piano.
but then we know. So really, all you need to know is that okay, let's bring it back to G minor. So you could take a sort of like a temporary departure and be like, I'm gonna, G minor's too safe. I'm gonna like elevate it a little bit. Elevate. So you think like up. You know what I mean? So. And then bring it back to G minor there, like that way, So, and there's sort of like a kind of, when I do this, sort of like a curiosity, playfulness to it, which I encourage everyone should do, is just to like experiment and try things.
it's
you
cool.
know?
Like what I
Yeah.
was trying to experiment with was like the things you can do in G minor, like different chord progressions. You can always go to like a, there's always like a.
Ooh, nice.
There's stuff like just a lot of it's just intervals, right? Like
Yeah.
you stick with the regular stuff,
Yeah.
and then there's like you could mess with like throwing in. Well, maybe I didn't really experiment. I'm just like throwing things out of. And like that idea is like if you're playing in G minor, just play G minor. You can move it's essentially just moving the shape around that you're playing, right?
Yeah.
That's a good way to like practice even scales.
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of the nice thing about these fretted instruments is like you know one pattern. You could just do the same pattern and move it up. You can move it down. But like conviction is also a big part. Like you can't do and be like, oh, this sounds funny kind of thing. It is gonna sound funny, but I think with conviction, you can sort of like convince the listener. You can convince yourself and the listener, and be like, no, this is cool. It's totally fine. It's what I intended.
Some of my favorite albums, the first listen, I was like, this is kind of weird. But
what?
it's like, I mean, like for instance, like I remember back when I was a kid listening to Kid A from Radiohead.
Yeah.
By the 10th listen, I was like, this is genius.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it takes a bit of a challenge to your preconceived ear, brain. And then as you give it more time, because I mean, everything's strange when it's something different to you.
Yeah. Like Beatles comes to mind. Like if you've never heard some of those songs before, which is hard because we've all listened to all of the Beatles hits, but like imagine
Break down like what they do is.
Yeah, imagine listening to some of those songs for the first time and be like, oh, this is weird,
Oh, for sure. Like, well,
I'm trying
I
to
mean,
think of one that's
some of them on like the
that's-
White Album or like,
yeah, like what's
the Sun King or
like there's a section, Here Comes the Sun, right?
That
Like harmonically, so we're in the key of G, we go B flat, F. Both of those are not in G, C, and then comes back to G. But because we've heard this song a million times, it's so easy for us to hear. But man, imagine like if we were, none of us were around when that song came out. You know what I mean? Can you imagine like how wild that must have been? You know, and it sounds.
I'm thinking like happiness is
but
a warm gun, or
that's
like,
a safe one. That's a safe one. You
I
know?
am the walrus.
Yeah,
or like,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah, I'm the walrus.
like,
Jeez, I can't. Like Blackbird works really. It's such a beautiful tune, but like harmonically just goes so many different places.
Come
you know?
Together is pretty odd.
Yeah,
Like Strawberry Fields at the time was like
that's a perfect
really
one.
out
That's
there,
a perfect
yeah.
one. Yeah, Strawberry Fields is great.
Just the composition being so unordinary.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like we're like those songs
'Cause we're
come
used to
on,
it.
we're
Like,
coming
we've heard
along,
it.
and it's
Yeah, we've
it's,
heard it a million times.
Right. What do you think about that when creating, as far as that balance of what people are gonna like versus what's gonna actually like be different?
I think that's something I'm always trying to explore. I think as of finding that balance of relatability, you know, but then also giving or like sprinkling surprises for the listener too, regardless of the experience of the listener, you know, experienced listener or someone who's just, you know, listens to like, you know, 145 all day, you know, but then you want to be able to have everybody kind of join you for that ride, you know. It's not an easy thing. It's but I find that really, really fun and challenging to try to do. But then there's that, but then also like sort of like pushing, again, always like pushing the boundaries, the envelope, and trying to write things that are unconventional but still digestible. That's another angle, you know.
Is that what the type of stuff you've been writing lately?
Yeah, I've been sort of like exploring that approach lately, where
Got an example?
you know, so just those first few chords, like that's sort of kind of easy to follow, right?
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden goes here.
What?
You know what I mean? And then just keep going on with that. You know? So it's these two like sort of
What was it? called,
left
James?
turns. So I start with B minor, A, D, E flat minor, E flat minor, into F sharp or G flat. And then it keeps on going. I don't remember off the top of my head, like, because I wrote sort of this whole thing out. I don't remember where it goes after that. This is something I wrote like last week. You know what I mean? And then maybe like I don't remember where it goes after that, but I know it goes to like E flat minor and then like G flat major. You know, so that's a song that I've been working on, where it starts off pretty predictable, and then it's left turn after left turn, but it's not too far. I feel like it's it's these left turns, but then you're still kind of like you still have the attention, I think, of the listener. You know, and you don't want, obviously you don't want to try to lose, like I don't want to lose the listener.
The melodies can tie it all together with
right,
kind of
exactly, yeah, and that's just the chords. I don't have the melody under my
right.
hands right now.
First three chords kind of sound like Nocturne or
Yeah. So I was thinking.
And then you go to that. It's like, whoa,
Yeah,
what the-
right. But it's not too. I feel like it's not too far out. Like it is
within the context.
It's
of
a little
the song,
jarring, right?
you know,
It's
like,
jarring
you
at
can make it
first,
work.
but then context it plays a big role, right? But if it was something like, you know what I mean, like if it was like this, like, or something like, I don't know,
right? Then
you know what I
that's
mean?
just-
Like it's
now you're just being weird.
yeah. Then it's just like, okay, where is it going? I need something to relate to, or
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
If you have groupings of scents,
Yeah, again,
They just need to fit
It's
together.
this balance that you're sort of playing with, you know,
yeah.
of like getting their attention, but then like having them like hang on by a thread and then bringing them back in, you know.
Or it can be like a thing of somewhat like a relatable groove that you lock people into, and then as it goes into, you know, the next,
That's-
like you
Yeah,
rise up into something more unexpected
Right.
than, you know,
that's another approach,
what they would
you know. So rhythmically, groove wise, you could lock them in, you know, like have a groove there. You're already in, you know. But then on top of that, you could play with all these different weird harmonies
yeah.
that sort of just like bends this musical landscape and dimension that you're creating for the listeners. But yet but you still have them, you know what I mean? Because they're so locked in with that rhythm, you know. That's another approach, you know. So different ways of sort of playing.
Can I show you something real quick?
Yeah.
See what you think about this. So this is song is called Nails. So it could sound random to just like
Yeah.
anybody, but then the more you listen to it, you can hear what the structure is, right?
Right.
And I like to kind of wonder what made them think of that.
Yeah.
And it comes down to doing these kind of things, right? You start off with like a beat that you have that I don't know what timing that was, but
Yeah.
um
So sorry, I don't want to. I want to say one thing before you play. So the first thing that grabs my attention is this phrase. The thing is, I don't even know what the time signature is, you know, but it's this phrase of going. It's this up and down motion,
yeah.
and that to me is the hook already at that point. At that point, you hear that you're in,
Yeah.
you know. So me as a listener, I'm already hooked in, and then my next step is trying to figure it out,
Yeah.
you know.
And like seeing where they put all the melodies down and
Right, and then
And-
as you're trying to figure it out, you hear like the melodies and then it's like oh, and so
And you
it's,
hear the
it's,
intervals
it's
too,
constant
right?
like surprises, you know. But then at its foundation, at its like most simplest device is the you know, that's what brought me in, you know. So it keeps me interested and engaged as a listener.
Who is that?
That was Greg Spero and.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Greg
that's
Spero,
Greg.
Yeah.
That's Greg. Oh.
I remember he played one of the songs. Like this is one of them. This one, it's just a 2-chord thing, but it goes hard.
Oh yeah, I like this song.
Did that, and then I dug more into Greg Spero, and that was another side thing he did with like a trio and stuff. That album is insane too.
Yeah, what do they call this?
It looks like it's just the name of the Tiny Room Sessions.
Oh, Tiny Room Sessions.
Ah,
Yeah,
that's right. That was
Yeah.
like Greg's space in LA.
Yeah.
And then you just keep building off of that.
Hmm. Oh, this is wide open, man. It's like
Oh yeah.
it's wide open to do all sorts of things.
So these are LA cats, huh?
Yeah.
Make you miss being there a little bit.
Actually, no, it's more than 2 chords. There were like 4 more extra. But
But so it's interesting you say like, oh yeah, there's like more chords, but at its foundation, it's really B minor, the whole thing.
here's a more easier listening one that we can even mess around to. Spirit Food.
I actually found him from like
Earthbound as well.
starting a station on Spotify for Domi and JD Beck because I was listening to a lot of them, and then I find all these other like really crazy, great musicians.
That was kind of like the what I thought of when you're like, oh, just a like a sharp turn.
That last track?
Yep. So, like, listen to this.
It's nice.
Back to the-
It's
yeah?
nice. This is great. Yeah. I like it.
You want to mess around on something like this? I want to hear what comes out of this because they do some crazy stuff in here, but and then
Oh, it's the same thing.
so what is that? Because that's just the A and B, right? Like what the A is just
And then it does it again. What is it? There it is. So. Yeah. So that whole chord progression is the same device done 3 times in 3 different places.
yeah.
That's all it is. Yeah. So
The first one is
B flat minor. Same thing. And then a whole step down after that. Yeah, it's all. It's the same. So it's the same thing. If you think about it, it starts off B flat and it goes down a whole step. B flat, A flat, G flat. Just done three. Same device, 3 different times.
I thought it was
Yeah.
just 2. I didn't know it was 3.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But
Yeah,
It's the same
try
exact.
that.
It's the same exact progression.
Should we do something friendlier, maybe? A minor?
Same device. F sharp. So. And then G minor. Gonna go one more. F minor. It's nice, man. Now let's go back to A minor. Yeah. Yeah, man.
And then I realized, oh, I haven't been doing this kind of guitar. I've been doing electric guitar. So I'm like, I can't. It's not flying the way it's supposed to. So
Man, you sound good.
I need to
man.
do more of this. You were
Sound
killing
great.
it.
Sound great.
No, it's because you're usually doing like popish
easy-
kind of movement. This is
Yeah.
a challenge.
This is good. It's unlocking the mind, which that was cool. I didn't realize it's just all half or full steps apart going down.
That's a nice progression, man.
That was a good insight. I wouldn't have figured that out that fast.
I wonder if we could like keep going with that. So like A, and then you have next one. It's after F, and then you just keep going. There it is. Yeah. Yeah. And then. Is that right? Oh, B flat, minus flat 5. Oh, there it is. And then we could go back to B flat. Wait. Well, we started on.
On
We
A,
started on
yeah.
B. We started on B, right?
I think
Or A.
it was A.
Oh, sorry.
minor.
Oh, so after that would be back. Complete the cycle. Yeah.
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 Try it.
Dude, that's a tune, man. You can just keep going.
Yeah, do it a little bit closer together to where like, or I mean not closer together, but
Like one time each, maybe.
maybe yeah, try
One
that.
time each. Try it. 2. Ready. F minor. E flat minor. Flat minor. B minor.
Oh.
And then we're back to A minor again.
Yeah,
It just goes back.
that's pretty sick.
It's amazing. Where are we?
You gotta be able to back them up.
yeah.
That's D flat minor. I don't want to blow over this, man. Here we go.
Oh,
That's a workout.
that was a brain.
That is a
exercise,
workout.
Very fun one.
That's a workout.
I love that.
That's a workout.
I mean, there's like
I'm
maybe most people
exhausted.
would be like, that's
I'm
kind
exhausted.
of out there and kind of cool, but for me, I'm like, that's perfect.
This is
like-
the perfect example I was talking about, where like it's not too far off to like kind of get into,
yeah.
but it's just enough that it's interesting
Well,
to be like,
the key
I want to
changes
keep.
pull
I want to
me.
keep.
It's like the progression is cool, and then you pull me with that key change, and then you pull
Yeah.
again, and then you pull again.
keep
It's
pulling.
Like
keep
once
pulling.
once it
yeah.
changes,
but once
you're already
once
in.
you feel it pulling you
know?
back to the beginning, then you're like, oh my god,
Yeah.
that's so amazing.
Yeah.
And you're like,
It's
where
nice.
did I start off? On?
It's nice when it comes back to like the A minor, because that's where we started, right?
Yeah.
But we're doing, you know, for those of you wondering what we're doing, we're just taking the same pattern and dropping the entire thing a whole step down. A minor, G minor, F minor,
That should be
E flat minor, D minor, B minor, and then we're back to A.
That's gonna
you
be
know.
your exercise you teach.
That's my next
in
workshop.
There you go.
That's my next workshop.
Holy
be able to-
moly.
I think it should be your guys' next song. I mean, like honestly, like
I'm down.
that's cool as
So
hell
this
to
is
me.
this is something that I love, like trying to write and figuring out, you know. Yeah.
Sometimes just like a spark of an idea, right?
Right.
And then
Right.
you run with that. Well, what if
And
we
then
did this
right,
with
exactly.
that? You know,
Yeah,
kind of a
yeah.
thing.
Because we're all listening and, like I said, getting ideas from all these different resources, you know, like the people that we listen to, you know, whoever we're influenced by, our influences. When we go see a show or when we put something on the radio, we're always listening to something, and we're always like picking things out that kind of resonates with us, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then being like, hey, that's a cool idea. I want to turn that into something, you know? Because sometimes we need, like, it happens to me all the time. Like, I'll hit a writer's block, and, you know, at that point, it's like you have to stop and then just come back to it, you know? And you need to sort of like refresh, reset the ears, you know, get a new perspective. Or another thing that at least I do is I'll write a tune, and then you put it away for like a few days or like a week, and then you come back to it and you're like, yeah, I don't know about this. Let me fix this, you know, again. Because you'll hear things differently from one day to the next, you know. And that's the neat thing about creating your own music or composing, is like you have the final say, you know. So you can always sort of like make those edits and adjustments.
That's also the hard part about it.
But that's also the hard part, because it's like,
Where
is
do
this,
you let
is this
go?
what I want?
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
in the end, like,
Because you know, if you go back to your old stuff now, you do stuff
and then you
different.
record it, and it's like,
yeah.
oh, I should have changed that chord, man, or I should change that note or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's, yeah, I mean, that's something that you have to live with.
I thought of another sort of the same. I'm gonna see if it works. In theory, I think it, you know, on paper it seems like it works, but it'll be sort of the same thing, just a little different. So like, you know how there's this conic chord portion? And it's just half steps down, right? If you did like a C,
C,
half
right,
step,
C, half step,
C,
and then B
G.
flat major.
yeah,
Yep, and then from
then-
there,
F,
so
walk
up,
down.
up a fifth, so up a fifth or down a fourth. Okay. Wait. Yeah.
I'm throwing myself up.
And then E. And then from here it's A. Then back to C.
Yeah.
Go to E flat. E flat major 7. G flat. sorry.
right?
Yeah. G, and then we're back to C. Yeah, I feel like you could always do some sort of like, we could do any interval, yeah? So we do the same pattern, C, da, da, B flat, so C, B, down to B, and then B flat. And from here we would go down a fifth. Sorry, up a fifth. So from B flat would be down to the fifth would be E flat, right? Yeah. D flat major 7, D flat. So D flat down a fifth would be G flat. Yep. G flat major 7. E major 7. Down a fifth here would be A. A major 7. G major 7. Down here a fifth would be brings us back to C. So that's a cycle.
Almost sounds like a Beatles kind of
Yeah.
thing, yeah. Just
It's a cycle of fifths.
See now, so even like this moment will inspire me to write something like this. You know what I mean?
Nice.
And this is just like how the progression I feel like should just keep going. You know,
Yeah.
this circle and continuity of music. You know, like, and not this doesn't just go for me. Like everyone listening should be inspired to write something like this. You know.
You have like your basic 3 chords,
Yeah.
and that has its own nice sound on its own. And then,
Right.
yeah, when you start cycling it in these different ways,
Yeah.
and
so,
then it leads back to itself, and it's that flow is so cool.
so the lesson is know your intervals, know your scales, and
Yeah, for you guys to be able to do that like that, you know, that's
see the thing is I'm thinking about it. I don't know how you're doing it, man, because
I'm thinking it in bass notes and where it's walking down. So it's like you have like if you're starting C, I was thinking of using this chord first.
yeah.
And then it goes. Wait, was that what I was it? Wait,
Should go here. Yeah. So whatever device that we're using, like Corey's using the fretted instrument because you're familiar with fretted instruments. The thing is, I'm picturing a piano.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
that's my that's my foundation. You know,
Yeah.
so I'm picturing the piano, and so I feel like I have to do an extra step. So I'm thinking the piano, and then I have to think, okay, what is that chord on the piano transferred onto the ukulele? You know.
that's your OG instrument.
That's how I look at motion.
Relate harmonically, or
Right, exactly, yeah.
You know, a part of the being able to do these kind of things successfully too with other people is being with other people that aren't going to be like, geez, man, why are you being a weirdo? Like, can you just not maybe stop changing keys or something? You know, it's like, but yeah, I mean, the fact that you guys both are on a level where you can play with these things is
Right.
part of the prerequisite to get to that.
Shall we try real quick?
What is
just
that?
a quick that idea of just one round. 1, 2, 3, 4.
And scene.
This is song number 2 on the album
I
already.
know.
This is a
Dude,
whole concept album.
I should just take it. I'll write a tune, man.
It's called Cycles or something like that.
Yeah, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Love it. Hey, talk a little bit about how people can take basic chords and make them more jazzy. Because you are the jazz meister. Hey, guys, if you don't know it, Abe wrote the definitive ukulele jazz book a couple years back.
Yep.
It's
I don't even want to.
yeah, just look it up.
I don't even want to call it jazzy. I think the main message I want to get across is like knowing or having
Like the avenues of expression.
or having knowing the different options that's available. And it doesn't have to be like these complicated chords, you know? You don't necessarily... I also feel like you don't necessarily have to know the names of these chords. All this would involve is just having, just sitting down with your instrument and adding things or subtracting things and seeing how that sounds to you. Because in the end, it's like you want to be able to play things that sounds good to your ear, So example, like C, we all know C. And another one way to think about this is it would be helpful to know like the scale that goes along with it. So C, So we have all those notes at our disposal. Okay, But see if you could use all of those single notes along with the C chord. So for example, say I want to add this note, you could play it here. You could also play it here. Okay, it's a different color. Okay, you could also play it here. It's a different shape, you know. So each of these you get a different shape. You have 1, you have 2, you have 3. Okay, it's all incorporating that B note. Okay, and then you move on to the next one. A, you could do it here. You could do it here. You could do it here. You could do it here if you want, you know. G, you could do here. Obviously here. You could take it up an octave. You could do this, you know. Adding F, so this makes it a sus chord. You could go here. You could go here. You could go here. You could go here. E, obviously here. You could go there. You could do this. You could do this. You could do this. You could do this. You know. So now C becomes this. You could play. Like these are all variations of C, you know, as long as you know where or you know, all of these different combinations are all interchangeable basically. You could do this, you could do this, you could do this, you could do you could even do chords that are not, you wouldn't think C, like this. Like the G chord is all same notes, part of the C scale, right? So you could add that in there. You know, those are all like variations of like C, you know.
It's all the white keys.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So multiply that by like A minor, you know what I mean? Like, or F or G, you know. It's unlimited. It's really unlimited, you know.
Ooh, you're unlocking things.
So like one of the chords I like to do is like F, you know. We know F as this. I don't know, you know.
So would you suggest just like learning the major scales all over and to know where your fingers can go for those sort of like
One thing,
things?
like once you learn the major scale, it's really up to the player to explore. Like they have to have this like curiosity of like, let me try this. Let me, like, as I'm playing this, I'm thinking in my head, let me try this, see how it sounds, you know? Like, what does this chord sound like, you know? And the thing is, you don't necessarily need to have a name for it. It's just associated with some sort of color or like feel or emotion. You know, if it doesn't sound good to you, then never play it again, you know, and find something else that you like, you know, maybe like, hey, this is a nice chord, like, I'm gonna do this, or like, that's cool, you know. You know, so it's about trial and error, you know, but you have to like sit down and mess around and explore and play and see what works, or what you like, what works for you, because we're all different, and that's the part that I want to stress, is that we're all different. We all hear and interpret things differently.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, if I make a
we
plate
wanna
of
celebrate
food the
that.
way that I like it, then the next guy is gonna say it's way too
Yeah,
spicy.
because music's it's subjective, you know. But what we, in the end, what we want to listen to is we want to listen to that person. You know, what's unique about them, and this is the stuff that will stand out, I think. You know?
Well, allow you to fully explore who you
Yeah,
are,
and
what
when
you wanna
people
say.
listen to you play, they'll get, it's a glimpse of that person's being,
Right.
you know?
But you have to get to a point to be free enough to show that, really.
Yeah. That's why we sit down and we explore and we try things and we make notes of like what works, what we like, what we don't like, and
But yeah, in the phase of going from like learning songs and that sort of thing to like, how do I express myself? These kind of exercises, I think, are
yeah.
really essential for bridging that gap.
That'd be the name of your new album and workshop.
What is that?
Bridging the Gap.
Bridging the gap.
It sounds
With
such
Dr.
like
Abe Lagrimas
There you
Jr.
Bridging the gap. It's like me in a
TED Talk.
doctor or like dentist outfit.
Yeah, right.
Bridging the gap.
Oh, yeah,
you know?
yeah. That's probably is a term for dentistry. Yeah. Nice.
Anyways, that's man. Thanks for having me, guys.
You're the best.
Thanks.
This
for
is
being
this
here.
is always fun and challenging, and
It's funny because you didn't even want to like. Nah, we don't need to work on music.
Oh, just make it.
We'll just.
so, I mean, like,
But what you know?
yeah,
I
like
mean,
for me, playing
cool-
tunes, playing
cool stuff comes
songs
out,
is
yeah.
like, to me, playing songs is the end product. I love the process and the
Yeah.
grind of like, how do we get there?
Yeah.
You know, it's one thing to just play a tune, learn a song, cover it, boom, that's cool, you know, and that's always fun.
Well, I don't.
But music is this
film
growing thing. you know,
that process usually because it's a messy, long process. you
yeah.
know? And people have a gajillion things they could be watching online. So it's like,
I apologize for
no.
everyone who
You know,
does not care
whatever,
about this.
You know,
No, this is
there was some
But this
that
is what
fell
excites
off
me.
along
This
the way.
This
but
is what excites me.
gets me excited.
me too.
Yeah.
100%. And you know what else excites me is that ukulele is whatever you want it to be musically. It's a musical
Yes.
instrument. It's a tool. It's not a style in itself. It's an instrument.
Yeah.
It's not
And,
just chalang-a-lang.
It's
Well,
it's
it
an
can be.
extension
It's,
of
can be.
It's all those things.
yeah,
You know?
just like any other instrument, it's an extension of yourself.
Nice. Yeah. And for a lot of us,
That's
it's
your-
the
it's your
tool that
brush.
feels most comfortable
Yeah.
and that we bond with the most. And so
And I need to get more comfortable.
Same here.
man, you're like
You're already
I need to
comfortable.
get more comfortable. No, man.
You're very comfortable.
throw 100 chord changes at him and he just flies right by him, blazing
I wish you could take like a
16th notes
like
along
a
the way.
picture of my brain, like trying to think about these chords and everything.
I
Should
know.
have that
Because I
thing
am
that
thinking,
analyzes.
like, don't get like
MRIs turning like
yeah,
dark
yeah.
purple. and-
Exactly. Yeah. I'm like thinking, I'm sweating right now.
And there's some energy involved in the brain too. You'll sleep good tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you,
I'm
Mr. Abe.
exhausted.
You're the best. I'm gonna work on making you come up to give some member lessons and
Okay.
and maybe more. So we're gonna try our best to get this incredible man to sit down and show you guys more stuff soon. And we love you guys, and let us know however we can help with anything ukulele, and we'll see you next week. Aloha.